We're not live yet. This hangout is live. Wicked. All right, man. It's been a while since our last conversation. Lots has gone down. We were originally just talking about the James Comey testimony. So you reckon that, so what's your take on the whole controversy?
I mean, I'll sum it up as far as saying I think Comey, obviously, in my opinion, is, I'm going to use, I don't want to use the term works for, but I'm going to say he is commissioned by more of, the Bush, Obama, Clinton side of things.
So, quote unquote, the establishment.
Yeah. Well, there's Republican establishment. Yeah, basically the establishment.
Yeah.
So yeah, ultimately, I think he's part of that. Now, of course, he's gonna say things for both sides. That's as I was listening to part of the testimony.
Yeah.
He was obviously making it slightly confusing because he was saying truths and false probably about both sides. But yeah, ultimately, I think obviously he is part of the establishment, and that's why Trump fired him, because he was ultimately.
That's what I reckon as well.
Yeah, I don't think Trump is part of the establishment, and I think that's why. And I think with the firing of Flynn, that's their hook. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a setup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's part of like almost a coup d'état on part of the establishment on trying to, because there's I think one of like the senators has like already started impeachment proceedings for the Russian thing, and it's not even fucking true.
I mean,
or like part of it might be true. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think there was any. As Comey said, he absolutely has no doubt that like the Russians had involvement. Obviously, he also said the FBI is completely honest. Which is a
like independent from the fucking executive branch, and I'm just like,
that's a load of bullshit.
Did you see how he fucking contradicted himself just in the first half hour? He was like, one of the other people who was reading from like Trump's or like on like James Comey's defense or whatever said like, oh, so he asked you to stop like investigating Russian involvement, and Comey's like, yes. And then when he was speaking, he said, no, he never asked me to stop investigating. And I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't get to see the whole video, so.
Yeah, I mean, like I only saw like 35 minutes so far, but
asked him some weird questions. But
yeah, dude, there's been
some bullshit. I don't know what, I don't actually know what he asked.
But like honestly, man, I reckon that people, rather than seeing how fucking ABC breaks it down or CNN breaks it down, or even the independent ones like Alex Jones break it down, I think people should just see it for themselves and just kind of look into shit, man. It gets weird.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, is there Russian involvement? I don't, my personal guess is I'm going to say no. I'm on the side of saying there really is, if anything, Obama would be more of a Russian implant as far as I'm concerned than Trump.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think that because he is anti-establishment, they just want to spin that narrative and take it as far as they can. Like, look how hard they pushed it since the P thing.
Oh
You
yeah,
know? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and
Which was proven false, by the way. Wasn't like the Pissgate thing proven false, or like they had nothing, but it came out in the media anyway?
it's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
Where he was pissing on Russian hookers.
Oh, yeah, the hooker thing. Oh, yeah. I am sure that's such an accurate story.
That's such a fake news fucking story, man.
Members to each other.
Yeah, and dude, this whole push anti-fake news is being done by fake news. Like the actual fake news. Oh, it's such a crazy time.
Mm. Oh yeah, I think there's nothing. I think it's a lot of hogwash. They can say all this stuff. I don't see him. They keep talking about impeachment, but I don't see it happening.
Because you have to have legit grounds for it, and not just because, like, oh, we don't like him. I think it is because they don't like him. They're trying to come up with things.
Quite biased, yeah. And what's even more interesting is that, for the past other presidents, Comey was never really recording dialogue in presidential briefings and investigations, and all of a sudden, as soon as Trump becomes president, he starts.
Yeah, what the fuck, right? Like, I read his written testimony, and like where
I read parts of it. I didn't read the whole thing.
Yeah, where he said that he met with Obama twice alone during this whole thing.
Oh yeah, I think he's a.
But with Trump, you're right. He fucking met 9 times alone and like recorded things. Like what?
Yeah. Now apparently Trump says he has a recorded transcript of the speeches also.
Right.
Which honestly, good for him because it would fact check. I mean, to me, that kind of
yeah.
It would be to kind of fact and reality check of what I don't know, like actually released those. I have no idea. But,
yeah.
But I'd say good for him for recording it also. I think.
Yeah, I think obviously, like absolutely.
I hate to sound like that guy, but I think there's quite a few people that need to still be fired from the establishment, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, no, dude. Like, you know how the fucking MSM like trying to spin it like, oh, there's Russian moles within. No. There's no Russian moles. There's fucking Illuminati moles that have, or for the lack of a better term, there's like establishment moles who do not serve the people, essentially. And so, and who knows how deep that goes, man. Trump is probably finding it out, and that's why he's making all these changes.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, obviously, yeah, like with Comey and then Flynn, how like that's their smoking gun that they wanted them to stop investigating.
Yeah.
But he also, I think Comey said also, he also said at no point, I am always under, I can be, I can be fired at any time by the president.
Yeah, with or without any reason. Like it's not illegal for him to fire the director of the FBI at all.
Of course, I understand from their side how it looks suspicious, but they haven't presented any actual tangible evidence to convict him of.
No. So that's why I think he's gonna, if he hasn't been already, I think he's gonna be vindicated.
Yeah, but I'd be curious to watch the whole video, but
yeah, just watch fucking Alex Jones's summary. I think, dude, because like honestly, man, from
what did Jones say?
Oh, like Jones was essentially like, is that James Comey basically self-destructed in front of the world. Essentially, is that like this was kind of a good thing in terms of the fight against the globalists because apparently he made a lot of like things fall in place for like, you know, in terms of exposing bullshit. That is like
Oh yeah,
a succinct summary.
he's playing both sides, but also he's also saying, you know, basically that there really is nothing there. Also at the same time,
Yeah,
he thinks involvement, but he also says there's nothing there.
yeah, which
So,
is, which,
yeah.
dude, which, like, how can, like, I don't understand how people can still be brainwashed into believing establishment shit. I mean, I know it's like a strong ingrained psychological brainwash, but still, man, it's not. You know, that's why I fucking respect Alex Jones and those kind of, because out of all,
No, it depends on, yeah, I mean, it depends on the subject, but like, it's just there's that conditioning where people they don't follow through to see the other logic of the side.
it's like an ideological blinder, would you say?
Oh yeah, like, well, yeah, like another, you know, like as far as I'm concerned, what a lot of the liberals on the left don't see is they talk about like right-wing movements forming and stuff like that. They are to themselves part of the reason of why they form.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
My opinion, in my
yeah, like that
they,
whole, like the whole fucking Antifa thing.
yeah,
That's fucking ridiculous. I'm just like, you guys are like inciting basically violence, so like it's not gonna like just be nothing from the other side. You know?
oh yeah. Well, I mean, again, you're dealing, you know, Trump really, you're dealing with someone who's not status quo coming. People have been used to a way of politics and brainwashing for quite a while, and they don't really even teach. I feel like they don't even really want to teach now in school the actual like rules and like rights as like the citizens of your country that you have. You know, they want to kind of slowly uneducate people.
Well, it's
And
no, it is. I think it's a
someone
form
like
of.
Trump, what you're seeing is someone like Trump kind of expose that, you know, people are not used to, you know, hearing this type of unstatus quo way of doing things. Obviously the guy is, you know, is not perfect. Obviously there's a lot of things I disagree with Trump, but uh, the one side I do stand on is that he is, you know, I don't think he's establishment, and I think that is good for chaos like this to be happening because this is a healthy correction. It's not a perfect correction, not the ideal correction, but I will certainly think that this is much better than having another 8 years of the establishment completely take over the fucking world.
Yeah, I think that's what. Have you heard of Jordan Peterson? He's the professor from University of Toronto who refused to use transgender pronouns, and he just got like shit on for it.
No, but I'm not
Right.
surprised.
So, like the way he explains it, and it's 100% true. What you're like, and this is coming out of the universities. That's why he's against the university structure completely. Is that it is a postmodern mixed with Marxist indoctrination of the liberal left, and they really don't believe in dialogue or logic or anything like that. It's blind ideology,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so that's what's happening in basically humanities.
Like fascism, similar to, you know,
Basically, no, because dude,
kind of lies enough and people believe it.
yeah, no. So like postmodernism is like I've been like reading up on it. It's like it's completely against Western civilization. So they want to destroy everything that makes Western civilization good because they think it is the patriarchy, or like, you know, it is like whatever's keeping black people, transgender people, women, whatever oppressive group you want to categorize yourself in, down.
Oh yeah.
So their only goal is to destroy without any like dialogue, because they don't believe in dialogue, you know, and that's why they don't let people speak and shit like that at campuses now, and they riot because of that. It's so weird. But I think like that is
Oh
why
yeah.
Trump won, is because the rest of the world doesn't work like that, or the rest of the
Well, I think
country at least.
the problem is, I think it's gonna collapse. The problem that they didn't prepare for is that even when you try this tactic, uh, eventually there's a backlash, and you know, that's what you're gonna, I think, slowly start to see.
Mm.
Unfortunately, yeah, what's happening is it's kind of dividing, you know, ideologies, you know, right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's getting worse. And I think the way that Trump is doing what he's doing, kind of shaking the foundations of the system, you know, because like every like administration comes and goes, the foundations of the systems are still the same, right? And so, but most people don't know that that's what is happening. Most people think that, oh, we pulled out the Paris climate deal, and like, so like that means that like the world is fucked, we're never gonna. And I'm just like, no,
Well, that's
look
another.
into it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say let's talk about that climate thing.
Yeah,
I am very much an advocate for, uh, obviously, you know, helping the planet stay healthier
yeah,
and cleaner. Um, I have to actually agree with Trump on this one. I really do not find the Paris Agreement deal to be that good of a deal. I think basically the way that I see it is, you know, what it basically does is they want to redistribute money from the U.S. to other countries, and all it does is give China and India, which are huge, major polluters as far as I'm
yeah,
concerned,
yeah.
just
Hugely.
access. Continue doing it and with more coal. So
Yeah, dude, I think all these.
I personally, like I said, I don't think this deal is going to do anything. I don't see how this helps the environment, and all it does is wants to redistribute, you know, wealth from America to other countries, which is technically, you know, that's the establishment, in my opinion, trying to continue to break up the United States. You know, they want it to be kind of like a third world country ultimately.
Dude, I would say that more than that, I would say it is kind of to get rid, or like, you know, weaken the economic borders even more, so that their eventual goal of a one world government can be achieved. I still think that is the goal of the establishment, the Illuminati, the fucking Moloch worshippers, whatever you want to call them.
Absolutely, of course. Exactly. That's why they want, you know, they don't want individualism. That's certainly not
No.
what they.
Individualism and nationalism are the biggest threat to their fucking
Yeah, and you know
order.
that they do a very good job at brainwashing people because, for example, when you allow globalism to not function properly, uh, of course, that's what creates the right. That's what creates the right wing movements, and uh, the left nowadays really doesn't. A lot of people I know is
Yeah.
they refuse to see that point that
No.
you bring in X of different people into your country, and they have different values and like ways of life.
Yeah.
Um, the history of that country, he's going to react and create a new movement.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth. Now, I'm not against immigration policies, but I'm just saying this is when you have to be selective, and that's kind of, in my opinion, they're really trying to exploit globally because a certain number of these establishment people would love to do that, and they know that these movements which they can use to control the left because it gives them fuel for attacking that side where in my opinion that they refuse to see that actually that's what kind of causes those movements to begin with. Is when you try and change a culture, it's not a good idea. I'm all for peace and people getting along, but trying to have this one world community, not good for billions of people.
No, absolutely. I don't think so. That's why I think the liberal brainwashing is so strong. And dude, I fucking get it, because I listen to Bob Marley and shit, John Lennon, like peace, like love, everyone should get along, blah blah blah. But that has put such ideological blinders on the left that they refuse to see the reality of things. Where like, that's why it's so weird that they're fucking that they've shook hands with the Islamists, because you're just like they're so brainwashed into their ideology of like openness, like open man, just fucking like just be cool, like and whatever, that they refuse to see the reality of things.
Oh yeah, I yeah, it's simple.
I.e. the London terror attack. If you want to segue into that.
Yeah, I mean, that's I mean, that goes into a whole another realm of shit because
because Europe is like into shit right now. Like, I think that
I personally, I think that is.
Do you think that's where the globalist agenda has been the most successful?
Well, the thing is, it's a major aspect. It to me is almost like a bit ritualistic with the Illuminati, the Manchester thing.
I think so, because it happened at a Ariana Grande concert, who represents, if you look at it, from like the occult Illuminati symbology, and she's always wearing cat ears and shit, so she represents that kind of like sexually aroused cat entity. I don't know exactly what it means doing the bomb thing there, but I'll have to work it out magically. But yeah, very ritualistic. I would agree.
Well, I don't remember. Was it? I don't even think it. I mean, there's so many fucking like major events now that like you forget. You have to like keep up.
Yeah. So like,
was it ISIS related?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think they claim they claim shit nowadays anyway. I don't even like, even though it may not be them. They're like, yep, that was us. So Manchester was, I think, claimed by ISIS. I don't think the London Bridge attack has been yet. I'll check. Have they even named the people from the London Bridge attack? Yeah, they fucking stabbed like 48 people.
Oh wow.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, this is why George Soros hates countries like Poland, and I forget the other one.
Hungary, where he's from.
Hungary, yeah, because
George Soros needs to be investigated. How the fuck is he still funding all this shit?
Oh yeah, I mean, he has a lot of money, and he's very much.
I think he's much. fucking looks like a lizard.
Yeah, I was just gonna go pretty much straight there. Yeah, he's pretty much he's on the frequency pretty hard. So yeah, he does not like obviously two nations trying to be independent.
No, I would, dude. I think that the way to like
they lose power and money when countries decide to take back their individualism.
basically, yeah, and like I think that's the way to fucking get rid of this shit. Like break up the UN, break up the EU. Again, like isn't the process for that like retarded in terms of like exiting those? Like it takes ages to actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was curious. I mean, it would have. I mean, how would it have to go down? Like I said, there'd have to be a strong, I mean, there already, as far as I'm concerned, there already is the movement in Europe. Like you're not seeing on CNN or any of the MSNBC bullshit of what actually goes down in places like France and Germany. I think what's more accurate is that the people do not like how their country, how it's being run.
That's what I think.
People don't like the EU if you actually go and research it, or find that talk, or do proper research. Which is why if France had gone to Le Pen,
which I think it should have.
Oh yeah, she talked about leaving the EU, which would have been great. Which then leaves Germany as
like the second major power.
Next major power, because unfortunately in Europe, what the EU's done there and like these places, very corruption. It functions almost like a third world country, except for the few superpowers that that exist there. So
yeah.
If that happened, then it leaves Germany. And does Germany want to support the funding to keep basically the rest of the European Union alive? Because a lot of European countries are not in very good shape economically, actually.
I don't think like people are happy with.
Yeah, I don't know what Merkel's stance is. I know a lot of people in Germany don't like her. I know that.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It would be interesting because the thing is, if France and Germany left the EU, it would be I think it would fall apart. Then they would have to figure it would, which is necessary in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the EU should collapse, as well as the UN, which is the other big.
Oh yeah, the UN
organization
is pretty much garbage as well.
That's basically the two major globalist associations, other than like like the
UN, if you go down the different areas of the people running it, you have like there's these major councils, like councils of foreign relations, trilateral commissions. These are basically the enterprises that kind of control these world affairs, and it's literally run by some of the same 8 people, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like
the UN and its connections are very very dug in deep.
Yeah, like I would say that's why it is kind of difficult for even someone like Trump to actually shake the foundations, because they're so deep. Yeah,
you have to understand Trump. I personally, like I said, I'm not saying Trump is perfect, but I applaud part of what's going on just because
it's right.
Taking on something that should have been corrected a long time ago, that only got worse. And obviously, yeah, what you're going to see is there's so many layers to their,
conditioning, basically. Yeah.
So that's why you'll continue to see scandals like this with Comey. There'll be more and more people, I'm sure, scandals, because you have so many people, that don't want this to happen, and
Yeah.
They control a lot of the things still. So Trump can't just he can do everything he can to try and get rid of it, but you'll continue to see people like Comey and shit get fired, and you'll see these scandals because there's going to be plenty of people who are going to try and
Yeah.
want discredit him.
Yeah. I think it's I hope he doesn't get fucking,
Assassinated.
yeah, that he's like able to actually go ahead and do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the media really, really quite dangerous as far as what it's how it controls people though these days.
Yeah. Sorry, I just sent Anthony another invite. Just trying to get on. Um, but you're right. I do think, but it's so, I guess, sad and infuriating that I would say most people don't know that that is what's actually happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most will.
Most people don't know like what Trump is doing and why he's doing it. They just think, oh my God, he's fascist. He's gonna like.
Not educated anymore. They don't. They're not teaching you in school about the Constitution anymore. They're not teaching you.
Yeah, because they don't want that. They want to destroy. Like at least yeah, it is. And the thing is that in terms of history, man, it's like it's like about time that you get rid of this ridiculous establishment. Otherwise, it's like it's not going to stop until complete 100% slavery.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they already completed. They completed quite a bit.
I think they like almost like completed their like great work. That fucking pyramid on the dollar bill says the great work.
Oh yeah.
I think they almost finished it, but then Trump was like, wait a minute. What are you guys trying to do?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
You're trying to control the people?
I was talking like it's funny because some of my friends here, they were never Republican and voted for Obama twice, and it's just the party, the establishment, which has mostly now in America, I feel, really shifted. Which has a lot of power. The DNC now. It just has gone so far out of whack that because back in America, like being Democrat was the cool thing. Like if you were like
being left wing,
like 16th Revolution, all that. The cool thing was to be
liberal,
a Republican, like the liberal. That was the cool party to be in.
Yeah, the Republicans were seen as squares.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it's gone so far the other way now that honestly, in my opinion, conservatism now is more actually middle than actually.
Yeah, I think like conservatism right now is.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly, I could not label myself at all as a Democrat right now. There's just no way I can get behind anything what they're doing. I mean, I was behind Bernie, and they fucking completely sabotaged him against their own party. So I have zero respect for them as of this moment.
I don't think a lot of people do have respect for them, really, if they have any sense. Because I don't think the people that are in like support of that right now, I don't think they are supporting the reality of the party. They're supporting their ideal version of what the party represents than what it actually represents at this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope that's it. I mean, yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, but you're right. The center has shifted so far to the right that being conservative in today's day and age is like what classic liberalism was, back
Yeah,
in the day.
this is like, yeah, absurdism is like the new cool thing now because the other party's gone insane. It's like they've just gone
Mm.
complete corruption, in my opinion. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Uh,
How shit progresses.
um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think there are some honest people out there on TV, but
Like, I think that I watched a bunch of interviews of Tucker Carlson that he's done.
oh, so that's literally what I was just gonna say is
Oh,
I actually agree with Tucker Carlson on a lot of stuff he says.
yeah. Did you see the recent one with that Black Lives Matter woman? What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, it was scary.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't see that. No.
Oh, dude,
I know.
because they wanted to celebrate, I guess fourth the I forget the name of the celebration, but they made it blacks only. It was like a blacks only celebration, and Tucker Carlson ripped her, man. She got like, and she got so defensive and so angry and completely incoherent by the end of it, contradicting herself millions of times. So as you see, this ideology is not foolproof.
Oh,
It's fucking.
because Fox News spouts a ton of bullshit, and they have it. But it's interesting. You have a guy like Tucker Carlson on there. Uh, um,
Yeah, it was not.
accurate predictions.
Dude, speaking of Fox News, did you see the fucking video I posted about Megyn Kelly visiting Alex Jones?
No, I have to go
Dude,
check it.
right after her interview with Putin, she's interviewing Alex Jones next. Dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude, and it was great because like in the video during his live broadcast, he was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, that's Princess Leia over there in the white," and then Megan. A lot of people don't even believe that you're here right now. So is it really you? And like he was like doing his classic Alex Jones thing, and I'm like, holy shit, that is legit like the fucking Illuminati lady right there in fucking Alex Jones's play.
I think yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
It could have. I think it would be hilarious. My dream would be Alex Jones hosting. Like, okay, that would be quite the spectacle.
Yeah, but dude, I think like what I forget who I was listening to talk about this is that through the new basically because of the new media, I guess, was one of the reasons that Trump was successful. I mean, like obviously, like the electoral college thing was there, but that's why like it's like the energy of the unheard in terms of the mainstream.
Oh yeah, like I said, unfortunately there is I don't know how it will play out, but there is definitely I want to call it a divided ideology of people in America right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's like people. I think people are searching for
like either you're on one side or the other. Doesn't matter what they have to say, but if there's something emotionally attached that makes you emotionally attached and bias or hate the other one, that seems like how it's playing out right now.
Which is what the left is right now, right? It's like a perpetual outrage machine without any basis for it, really.
Yeah.
other than what's like in their head about how the world should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of what's in our heads, Jesse, how are the ETs doing?
You know, I want to know something interesting. So I've been a while back. I was curious to do a DNA test.
Dude, Anthony told me about that. That's so weird.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely
like tell people, tell people what
it raises
happened.
more than answers. That's for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, the most common like popular ones are these, like these like $99 ones, which is like there's a few main companies that do it. I did 23andMe, which is like a main
Yeah.
company. There's a few other ones, but
Mm.
they pretty much it's just like you send in a saliva sample and they give you, a general outline of your
Mm.
of your origins, I guess. They'll treat they'll show they tell you everything that you'll get in the results, and they'll tell you like what you have, what you're a mix of, and stuff like that. And yeah, so the first time I got an email from them saying, yeah, my sample was unsuccessful. They couldn't retrieve, wasn't a sufficient enough amount of DNA in my saliva. Or basically something in that realm where they couldn't they couldn't track my genome
Yeah.
of any sort. They said it was pretty unusual, but not unheard of.
Yeah.
Not like it's weird. Um, so yeah, I figured, okay,
Yeah.
they send you when that happens, they send you a whole new kit for free because it's not usually, it's very rare to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, same thing with the second one. And literally that's it. I have no more. They will not. I can't do any more sending back at this point.
Dude, what did they say the second time? The same thing?
The second time they just said, yeah, they couldn't find a sufficient amount of DNA.
What the fuck, man?
Not many genomes, and they said there's nothing they could do at this further point. That they refund my money. Obviously, they're giving me a whole refund. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's quite rare for this to happen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look up statistics at like how many of these fail.
Now, the thing is, they fail. Some of them fail, but usually the examples that are provided, basically, there's a couple of options of how the test fails, and option A is usually it means there's something when you send in the sample, it didn't deliver there properly, meaning it leaked or something. Something leaked out, and there was damage done at that point. Like the second option is this fluid that you press down into it, like doesn't get distributed properly. So typically, those, if you look up cases, that's what they say is there's times where it's an unsatisfactory sample, meaning somehow the process got screwed up. And the fourth option, which is in saliva, they use the white blood cells to get in there to whatever. I guess that's how they extract the DNA.
Yeah.
After genome mapping. And they said in some cases, some people might have a very, very low DNA content in their saliva. But it's very, it's part of a rare.
Yeah.
It's like out of all the samples that get sent to them, I don't know what it is. It's like I'm definitely like the one. It's the 1% that
Yeah.
it doesn't work out.
So fucking dude, follow up, two-part question. Did you get abducted by aliens? And did they mess with your DNA?
I mean, I don't. There's a bunch. I usually don't watch mainstream TV, but there was a new show that came out last year called People of Earth, which I will connect this show to what I think is going on. People of Earth is actually basically a show about a group of people that have like
It's a comedy show.
yeah, it's a comedy on TBS.
Yeah.
It's basically about this group of people that all claim to have alien abduction experiences, and then like one of the main characters was a guy. At least in the first season, it was about him. He's trying to like make his way in life, but he keeps having these flashbacks, and like he ends up joining this group.
Yeah.
And of course, they actually are portraying like, the other half of the show is about. They actually portray. They have a reptilian, they have like a Nordic blonde looking one, and they have a gray. And they're literally. I'm not gonna lie. They're literally pretty much right out showing people on TV to similar stuff that I had always believed in.
Yeah,
They're showing it on TV, which usually means they do that on purpose when they make a show like that. And like I said, I think they're very much trying to condition people to get used to the idea of aliens.
Yeah, I think the same way is, I would say, Anthony was telling me about American Gods, how that show has recently started as well to kind of, I guess, reinstate the idea of like that God consciousness in our world. Because there's like mythological gods in there. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I completely agree. That's why, like, superhero movies, right? It is always the same. They are obviously representative of like demigods, essentially, and Thor is a fucking demigod. And the threats are usually from like out of this world, or like from another world. And
Yeah,
they've had a bunch of those movies recently, so I think, and very successful.
A lot of shows and movies now really starting to bring the idea of outer space and different beings into the public.
Yeah, and gods and fucking like parallel worlds as well. I think.
Yeah.
Like with like Doctor Strange and shit. Yeah, it's very interesting.
The only thing I can break my experiences into either logic-based ones, or we can go into the conspiracy realm. That's how I approach it.
Let's go into the conspiracy realm. Logic is overrated.
I mean, well, I'm a logical person, so I tend to do my analysis come through logic first.
Which is good, I would say, because
yeah, I am obviously. We'll never be able to cover it in this episode. We'll have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's I could spend the next 2 days talking about what I believe as far as the alien presence and how they've influenced what we've done, and mind control, programming that gets into a whole slew of things. But at least for me, there's definitely experiences that I've had that are on the unexplainable side.
Same.
And is this this is what can I say? This DNA test is just another I'm going to say, artifact in the road that definitely continues to stir the pot rather than answer questions.
No, absolutely, absolutely, man. Fucking it. It would
Yeah,
be.
um, yeah, I've definitely had some bizarre experiences. I logically don't know how to explain.
There are some experiences that you can't explain logically, but like you're just gonna spend ages trying to. Like I've had a bunch of those experiences where I'm just like I'm still trying to extract patterns and logic from it.
Oh yeah,
Still.
yeah. Obviously, I mean, you know me. Obviously, there is the political realm of what we see: Trump, politics, Illuminati, and yeah, and then that's the first layer. Not the first layer, but that's the first half.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. When we go into the conspiracy realm, I am a white believer that that is just half of the story. That only starts to explain half of the story. Yeah, our planet is an interesting planet.
Yeah. It's not what we think it is, right?
Yeah, I think humans don't think that they think that is either.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I don't know.
Dude.
We go back to the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess so because I mean, there's evidence or at least accounts that ancient civilizations were helped by quote unquote gods from the heavens, not from the sky, but from the heavens.
Yeah, there's a, you know, in my opinion, you also have to understand history is written by the victors, and
Yeah,
if the victors win, it means they can write it the way that they would like to.
yeah, dude. When the fucking Mongols invaded, what was it, Persia, and they burnt that fucking like library, they said that the river was flowing with blood and ink. So they basically destroyed an entire civilization's knowledge.
Oh yeah, and, like I was saying, another example, metaphoric example I'll use of this is we take the country, the United States. You know, like I said, the education system in the 1950s was very different than it is nowadays. So it's the same meta. I like to use that process where uh, true knowledge can be manipulated over time and accepted over time.
Yeah.
And the accepting part means that they could be accepting false information.
Yeah, just because it's been so modified from the truth that it has become kind of its own.
And especially nowadays, it's very hard because, of course, to try and to present the evidence to someone may be fairly difficult because the evidence has been quite removed and basically thrown away into black holes. So you have to, like for example, what you would have to do is you probably have to talk to someone who grew up going to school in the 50s. And if you do your research, you'll find out that they were taught some different things that are not taught anymore. Especially when it comes to like a constitutional rights and like about learning about the actual Constitution. Most colleges and institutions now all have the same script, in my opinion.
Yes.
And that is to brainwash them to.
And it's not just in the United States. Let me say it's. I would say it's like most
of course,
Western schools. Yeah.
Western education in general, and really lots of places. It's quite scary how many places it kind of has.
Yeah.
But quite interestingly, there's still different stuff, and yeah, that's why it's very good to research you know, things not related to your own country also.
Yes, absolutely. Dude, I think like the conversations that I've had with people our age here is that through the internet, people are aware of a lot more now.
Oh, yeah, the internet is the only way to get your news nowadays, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I would say news and also just like read up shit. Like I've read up on so much shit about like religions.
The internet is very cool. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually try to regulate that next.
Oh, dude.
Remember,
didn't you see the headline? Like, dude, right after the London terror attacks, Theresa May came out and gave a speech that that the internet must be regulated so that we can prevent online radicalization. Are you fucking serious? You know, that shows like the real agenda of the whole thing. Where I'm just like, all right, this like terror attack happened, and like all these people lost their life. It's fucking terrible. We have to censor the internet. What?
Oh yeah. It's a bit scary. Yeah, literally the other day I was watching. The guy was basically talking about how it's a threat out there are basically internet trolls.
Oh shit, Anthony's here. Yo. We were just welcome to the Hyperspace Hour.
Dude, that's awesome. Are you recording this?
It's being broadcasted live on YouTube.
Well, holy shit. We're live on YouTube.
We're just
I wonder how many followers we're getting right
now. So we were just talking about how Theresa May, after the London terror attack, said like, we have to censor the internet to prevent online radicalization, and which are two things that have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people want to fucking control shit. Like when shit goes down, that's like their usual MO.
Yeah, man.
I mean, there are other things that are fucking happening as well, but you know, fuck those other things.
Yeah, man. Anyways, Jesse, where were you going with your point? Sorry, fucking.
I don't know, where was I going?
We're talking about regulation of the internet, like the way things are progressing.
And they even let my iPhone stop working on Wi-Fi today. Really must not like.
No, really.
They must not like me. Yeah, with the like, I was gonna say, even cable TV used to be you could just plug a TV as long as you lived in a provider area. You could just plug your TV in. And get that now you have to, in order to watch TV, you have to pay money for a provider.
Yeah.
And there's about 4 major providers, you know, especially in the U.S. Comcast, Verizon. You know, do some research, take a look who owns those companies. That's already them taking away your rights without you knowing it, because you're forced. If you want public news in the 1950s, used to be a public service for the people.
Yeah.
News was never supposed to be that you pay for it and it is bought and owned by a corporation. That is something new that the people have conditionally not understood and have accepted.
Yeah, without knowing what it's actually doing, what it actually is, right?
They slowly would love to take away all your rights and individualism. They would love for you to not think.
Oh yeah, and people would easily submit to that shit also. I mean, why not? It's like if you instill enough fucking fear into the populace, then of course people are like, sure, you can take our freedom, we'll do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that it's not seen that way. You know, it's just seen as, oh, like, let's just pay this company so that I can watch this cool show that's on. right? But not like knowing that it's like, yeah, I think they've put up forms of control at almost every level of society. Obviously, also the internet, but because the internet's so huge, I don't think they can possibly put full control on it. I mean, you still need an internet service provider, which is, again, it's the same fucking companies all around the world.
Yeah, as of right now. Hey, but yeah.
So, anyways, how would you take that, I guess, into like the hyperspace realm? What is going on with that, higher dimensionally?
I told you that would take about a week for me to like explain.
Dude, just fucking say it.
Just like a little bit, just because.
Jesse, you've been studying this shit for so long already. You might as well, like, talk about it.
Dude, because I think, like, in terms of what that is that like is it the reptilians that feed off of negative human emotion or whatever? It's like that energy being poured down into systems of control.
In order for their agenda to continue, they need to mentally be able to control people, because as long as they can keep humans with the same mind pattern, then they can then they can continue to manipulate. It's essential. I mean, it's similar. If you look at hive intelligence, how beehives or insect colonies work, they function. It's a similar fashion where there is a head brain, queen, that essentially controls, and every bit works and functions on a network and has a specific function that not meant to deviate off of it. Humans are harder because we're not insects or reptilians. We are a hybrid mix, which means they have to get you to tap into the reptilian frequency, which means they have to use the emotional side of mammalian mind patterns and behaviors to keep it in a lower energy state, so to speak. And through that, me and Anthony have had some interesting conversations. And how it depends where you want to take this dialogue. We can keep it.
Yeah, I think that
at a
no one's probably listening
level.
to this anyway.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be up. Hopefully, even if one or two people listen to it, it'd be fucking great. It's being broadcasted live right now, so.
Well, at least it's out there. So if we all die next week, perhaps some new mutant race will find it when they find their crappy technology.
Yeah. No, but I think you're like absolutely right. So let's just keep going with it. So that's like to keep it on like a reptilian frequency, to keep consciousness on reptilian frequency through programming, so that control can become stronger and stronger, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean,
or that race can become stronger.
It's part of their mind pattern actually, and that like I said, it would take. I would have. We could go back to the beginning, which like this would take a while to explain all this. I'll try and sum it up fast.
So wait, I don't mean to interject, but if I understand it correctly, essentially people who follow kind of a herd mentality are people that are essentially like kind of being controlled then, right?
Yeah, well, there's a difference because like insects, there's like hive, like there's like if you look how insects function,
yeah,
it's embedded into them. That's actually part of their biology. Like if we're gonna get into the conspiracy stuff, reptilian, the way their mind pattern is set is that it's 100% programmed. That's how the species operates. It's meant so that there's no deviation. So this whole functions kind of like a machine, which gets into a whole nother debate on another time that we can get into, because I myself have conflicts of whether this system is appropriate or not appropriate. But essentially, yeah, if you take like a beehive, they are I want to use, I'm going to have to use different language here because science would say this is biology, but I'm going to use them as a metaphor to explain how the programming works. For biological things like bees and those types of insects, it's just, that's part of their molecular biology. That's the way they function. And similar to like I was saying with reptilian, it's part of their mind pattern that everyone is completely programmed, let's say. It's not even really programmed to them, because for them it's a way of life. It's actually embedded into their, like you could say, their mind pattern. That's the way it functions. Another form of life is mammalians. Mammalians are a very different species. They adapt by adapting, meaning like they go to one place, they have to evolve, they have to, it's chaos. You could technically say the mammal is a more chaotic species. It needs to evolve and adapt where it goes. That's how it evolves. It adapts. That's how it evolves. So, so if we're going to relate this to billions of people, I'm going to cut off like thousands of years of what I believe is possible, true history here. But human beings are a hybrid type of race, mostly more mammalian, but all have a certain percentage of reptilian DNA in them. Depends on the race and depends on certain circumstances, but for the most part. And I should also say that programming way of non-deviating doesn't just have to work; it can work for any species. So it doesn't matter. It's actually a very physical. It's actually a very physical and energetic thing that's actually very connected. You could say to like the heart of physics, and like some people would call it like God consciousness, whatever you want to call all of existence.
Yeah.
The way that energy behaves and like physics, it's if you have advanced understanding of that, you can use that to your advantage. You can use that for good or for bad. There really is actually no good or bad, in my opinion. It's how it's used, and then it's how that particular stimulus reacts to that. I guess, if that makes sense.
But so then, how do you think it's being used now?
Okay, so yeah, so like I said, so reptilian, we have to get into the biology of different species, basically.
But so I just had a quick question of what you said earlier about this kind of non-deviation hive thing born into or is a part of their biology. But yeah, so you would say for us as human beings, it's
mammals. Yeah, mammals. Yeah. Don't live like that. Mammals.
Yes.
Mammals.
Do you think it's like because we have choice, right? That's like the main like philosophical argument of our condition. So that would mean that hive or like that frequency needs to be done voluntarily?
Yeah. Well, it gets, whether it's a choice or not, that's a debate.
Yeah.
Correct term that I would use is that like I would say mammals are much more spiritual in nature, if that makes sense.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now I get you.
And, yeah. So for example, so like a mammal has the capacity to understand and take in information in many different, you could say, vibrations, frequencies, all all of the above.
Mm.
An insect, a reptile can only function in about half of those.
Yeah. I get you. So it's more a kind of dimensional awareness.
Oh yeah. So it's interesting to be said because
Where conscious.
Mammals have to adapt, but mammals are much more spiritual animals in nature.
So that's true. I mean, elephants mourn their dead. Like, I mean, I don't know how spiritual humans are nowadays, honestly.
Yeah.
Some way.
I think that's why shit is so fucked up because we're not.
Oh yeah, humans.
Well, we lost We lost something. We lost something in the process. I mean, like, I don't know. I think maybe someone or some group wanted to make that knowledge hidden from the public. People wouldn't find out about certain.
I mean, whatever you want to call it, whether someone calls it God source or God mind, or energy, whatever you want to call it. If you're truly connected to that, there really is boundaries. For example, whatever state you are at, you could either function you could function in a non-physical level. You can even function in a physical level and still create matter and energy. Meaning, like, if you want something, I could create it right now. That's very connected.
Yeah. Dude, that is one of the things is that in the DMT realm, one of the things that are commonly encountered are like these little elf beings, and they're literally creating objects out of their mouth, like out of their language, and just saying like, look at this, look at this, look at this, isn't this cool, isn't this cool? So that ability exists.
Infinite amount of realities and an infinite amount of multiple existences and timelines. So really, really sum that up, meaning everything that you can think of is out there and exists through its source in a way. What that source is a whole nother story, but it could be another.
Yeah, it's like I agree with Jesse like on that. Like, there's a lot of things that people aren't aware of that I think people do, like, they basically do because they think they're not aware of what they're doing, and I don't think they're aware that essentially they're kind of being programmed to do it in some ways. But yeah, it's like, I mean, for example, like, yeah, it's like I spend a lot of time in non-physical realms essentially because I can, I know how to do that. Like, I also can like speak to astral entities because I know how to do that. Like, I mean, it's like I was thinking about what Stuart meant. Stuart's the guy that me and Jesse are going to see in July. And he talks about this thing about know by knowing. And it's really, for a while, it kind of went over my head. Like, well, what the fuck does that mean? What does it mean to know by knowing? And it's like it's kind of like a very strange internal process, at least for me, at least when I started practicing it, because, I told you and Jesse already knows about like kind of getting in, like the oversoul and like how to kind of like tap into that energy. Now, essentially, I see a big, like, shiny, like, silver ball with an infinity symbol that comes to my, like, that comes like as an image, and then it starts like floating over my head and starts sending energy through my body. So I mean, yeah, there are things that we can do as human beings that I think we're told or we're that that are kind of impossible because people want us to believe that is impossible, because if they believe if people believe it's impossible, they're easier to control and kind of keep in a kind of a fear state of mind.
Yeah, that's why I think the Western, I guess, deterioration of religious value is really bad, because at least with that you had like, you know, oh, that there's like a dimension of angels, you know, and then like, so like there was something higher. But with
They
like
had
the deterioration of those values, I think is giving grips to ideologies and more controlling mechanisms.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that the ancient people actually were much more aware of it than today.
Mm.
The bad news that I mean, it's obviously bad.
Yeah,
news
we talked about that.
The bad news, unfortunately, even though they were more aware of it then, there was a lot more direct influence back then than what's done now.
Yeah,
Now we have technology to take care of all this, so that's why it's hard, because if we talk about some of the conspiracy stuff we're talking about, it's hard for me to give you the smoking gun evidence, because it's all done by technology now and advanced, advanced ways. We can get into it, but on a simple platform.
Just
Back then, there had to be more actual involvement in the manipulation process. So it's important, because back then they were actually probably more aware and connected, but a lot more vulnerable.
Yeah. Dude,
they still thought that they still fell for it, as far as I'm concerned.
Have I ever told you about the bicameral mind, Jesse? The bicameral mind theory?
No.
Okay. So Julian Jaynes was this psychologist who proposed the theory of the bicameral mind, essentially suggesting that in older humans, how the boundary between conscious and subconscious is so strong in us now, where you can separate, like, you know, oh, this is a thought. Apparently those lines weren't always as strong. So it would have been very easy to interpret voices, you know, as gods or aliens. You know, that's like hence much more direct. At least that makes sense to me, you know.
Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that, because I think that, you know, when people would get imagery, like, you know, like the imagery they would get when they would inspire, like, you know, super religious texts, it might have been like influence from like an astral realm. It might have been influence from like an extraterrestrial or something, you know.
But because the subconscious and conscious wasn't as strong, it was like, oh, this is what is actually happening, you know.
Well, it happened, like I said.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, to me, experience is experience, whether it happens or happens. I mean, like I said, well, first of all, their mind had to be conceptually open to allowing it to happen. And I guess, like, yeah, you're talking about the subconscious and the conscious being quite different, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the line wasn't as defined in terms of consciousness. So you would have, like, you know, if you heard a thought, or like if you had a thought, that is what we call thought now, would have been seen as like a voice of God back then, because there was because the consciousness lines weren't as strong, or the voice of an alien being who told them to create Gobekli Tepe, whatever it is. You know. So like that's why I think ancient cultures around the world, even here in New Zealand, the Maori have the Anunnaki, and they pretty much like agree. There's a consensus that gods walked among us in the old days, like we lived among gods. Just interesting.
I mean, it's certainly possible if you think, you know, like if people were more connected to like an astral realm or something, and like essentially, you know, the separation between the consciousness and the subconscious was much more like there wasn't like that blockage, then yeah, it's like, you know, a person might be walking in the woods and all of a sudden they see an astral entity that to them like appears as like a god or as like some sort of spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
Or astral entity.
Yeah, and so like that's why like because the consciousness realms weren't so well defined, you would have been able to like, you know, like this is the perfect example. The Bhagavad Gita, the fucking Indian religious text, is entirely told on a fucking chariot with Krishna talking to Arjun. There's no way a motherfucker was sitting at the edge of the battlefield listening to what was happening. There's no way, you know. So like maybe like he was just like walking like on a field, and like had like this fucking, you know, download or whatever you want to call it. That's one example, you know. Anyways, Jesse, are we completely going off the rails?
I will disagree in this case.
Okay, yeah. How come? No. It was like that's why it was just a theory that makes the most sense to me, in terms of the how aliens could have worked more closely with the ancients than they do today, because essentially our consciousness is not as open.
I don't think they were imagining things. I think what they saw is not accurate depiction. But a lot of those texts that you read, especially the Mahabharata, are somewhat accurate accounts of some of the true world history that was going on at the time. So then they didn't know that. I think that it was.
But it's mixed with God shit somehow in the old times, always.
Well, of course, they saw. I mean, again, yep. You have to understand. It would be like if we're talking about, you know, extraterrestrial races here. You have to just understand human beings are white. Of course, everything is, say, connected, but you're dealing with such a superiority of mind power that they're quite easily manipulated people. It's like, you know, it would be like us looking at a puppy. Okay? The understanding and the mental abilities are just not even like close. So I understand what you were saying. It's like these were more astral influence type of things that you think cause them to like write down and show these things. Is that what you were saying?
Well, like I was just basically saying, like, you know, with the bicameral mind theory, is that the reason, or like a possible theory, why there was a more account or a hands-on experience of aliens or gods working closely with human is because their consciousness was literally more open than it is now.
I actually would disagree. I don't want to use the term open. I just want to. I just say it's like us playing with ants in a lab. They're going to accept.
Oh, right. Okay. So like you're like basically saying that.
I actually do not think, except for maybe certain cultures, yes, but for a large majority, they were ants, and it would be like the game Risk. Like unfortunately, we were like little mice.
Right.
That's just reality. That's what I personally believe is the reality. I know people might not like that answer, but this is, as far as I'm concerned, it's an experimentation process, and there are no thoughts, I want to say, given towards as far as connecting. This was all for the purpose of experimentation, just like what our scientists do in labs. We push the limits of experimentation. So the whole point of all this you're seeing was that was purposely done. It was direct influence for them to skew them a certain way. And of course, you could say, yeah, there was definitely, obviously, yeah, there was always the astral realms of existing. I think it was actually way less astral back then, because back then there had to be a lot more open contact in order for them to skew and manipulate the the people. So that's just my opinion. That's why when they depict them as gods, it's of course because they saw things and they manipulated them into certain ways that if they didn't do these things, they would assume that the gods would come back and kill them or destroy them. So that's why to them, they were viewed as gods, because quite frankly, when you manipulate someone so much, you can change their mind. You can separate their mind pattern, and basically you can automatically control them, and they will view you as as a god, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why they're called gods as well.
Like the Mara Barada is actually, in my opinion, it's a quite accurate representation of how the reptilian hierarchy system works.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or maybe not Mara Barada, but the Indian caste system.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think because the Indian system is just one of the oldest.
Yeah, the events of the gods that they're talking about, that was literally the extraterrestrial groups using different plans to come up to skew humanity, because you have to understand there was multiple groups wanting to influence their group for the domination of this project. So it was like a giant game of Survivor where a bunch of, I hate to tell you, it's literally, you know what this example is? It's literally like going to like a cockfight or a dog fight. You have a bunch of different people bringing they've done all this, they bring their guy come to win, and they let them fight it out. It's proxy war. That's in my opinion. I know that's a very dark outlook, but that is the truth in my opinion.
Right.
And that's why humanity is so out of control, because we are essentially in a giant experiment to higher beings. I don't want to call them higher beings; they're just more technologically advanced than us.
Yeah.
It's like what our scientists do with hybridization. Again, to our mind pattern, we're dealing with plants, so of course we just view it as a plant, but you have to take that same concept and put it on the human level. Unfortunately, they view us the same as we view a plant. Maybe not like a hippie person who's like really into like
who hugs trees and shit. Yeah.
But it's essentially these and of course in the conspiracy realm in New Age, there's different opinions. I personally am not a fan of New Age. I think it promotes unrealistic ideas for the truth, for greater manipulation. But yeah, we could definitely say the cultures were more connected. I personally don't think they were more connected. I just think
they just had more direct manipulation.
More direct manipulation and actually witness of what was going on, which is why you see in the artifacts and like the descriptions and like the books of certain things. Now, of course, like what I say is that don't take that literally, but those are depictions, metaphors of reality. I don't actually think they're hallucinations, stuff like that. I think very smart. They were, if anything, more perceptive than humans are today. So.
Yeah, I would say, in my opinion, there is no difference between, in terms of the truth of the experience, there's no difference between reality and hallucination at all. And
I'll disagree. I
depends on how strong the shit you took is.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Yes, there is not a difference, but you could say there's not a difference, but all I'm going to say is that mentality leaves the door open for severe manipulation and conquering.
And what? Sorry.
And almost conquering in a way. It's a bit,
of consciousness.
Yeah, in general. I mean that's why. Obviously, me, I'm not a huge component of psychedelics because if you're not like careful and knowledgeable about what you're doing, it opens up your mind pattern to new like realms and realities, which there is plenty of things out there that would like to hijack that and take advantage of that situation.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Yeah. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, like I mean, well, the funny thing is, like when I smoke weed, everything that you could say, the supposed extraterrestrials who I tried, Jesse, I put them in pale orange. They're apparently aware that I'm putting them in pale orange, and they stayed in pale orange. But nonetheless, whenever I smoke weed, they always are trying to fucking calm me down and make sure that I don't fucking get out of hand. But I would say fuck you to them sometimes. Because
That's,
right now, like...
Sorry?
All right, you can continue.
No, it's just right now, I am fucking pissed as shit. I am fucking angry.
Like angry? Oh, okay. I thought you meant like, that could mean like angry or drunk here in New Zealand.
I'm both right now. I'm angry and drunk. I'm fucking on YouTube right now, so we'll see how that fucking plays out.
Right.
Nope, because yeah, I'm very like I've got my own understanding. Like fucking extraterrestrials talk to me. Yeah, they fucking said a few things have come true, and they already have begun to come true. But at the same time, I go through days, and then these are one of the days where I'm just like, you know what? Help me, yeah, you fucking made sure that I didn't go fucking insane when like my mind pattern, I was starting to get open up to certain influences, and you grounded me. But seriously, there are some days that I just want to fucking rain fucking fire from heaven or something and just scorch the goddamn earth. Because now is one of those days. Because those fucking extraterrestrials, they don't tell me everything. They treat me like a fucking child.
Yeah, so why
whatever they tell me, I
used to get involved with them then?
Because they look, their logic is like, if we tell you everything right now, then you're just gonna get upset at us and you're not gonna want to help us. I said, well, yeah, no fucking shit. No fucking shit. They won't tell me what they're doing. They won't tell me like all the details because they tell me if we tell you all the details that we have planned for your planet, we're trying to help you out, Anthony, but if we tell you all the details that we need to do and the certain conditions that have to be met, then you're going to get pretty pissed off at us. And I said, yeah, I probably would.
But you're getting pissed off without that either.
Yeah,
I know.
Like,
well, it's like
Hillary Clinton said she was going to help out the people, right?
It's going to help out what?
It's like the Clintons, they were for the people, right, and help the people.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, they're look. I'm grateful for them helping to ground me and like make sure that I
ask them to talk to me. They don't want to talk to me.
Yeah, because they probably know they probably know that if you start talking to you, you're gonna start asking a lot of questions, and they're not gonna want to like fucking answer the questions.
Oh.
And like, here's the thing. Like, I know right now they're telling me some truths and they're telling me half truths. And they're basically coloring the truth for me like a fucking like 4-year-old with like a crayon, like trying to color in a coloring book or something. They won't give me the nice encyclopedia with all the precise information. They're giving me the children's version, which is interesting because when Stewart talked about meeting the transparent being, the transparent being said something very similar to him, saying that he was part of a vast galactic empire and, he was very, very special. They use very similar language on me. They say the same thing. It's like, you're very special. You know, we care about you a lot. We want to make sure you're safe. And yeah, they've made me safe. Yeah, they've definitely influenced things to help make my life easier. But at the same fucking time, I'm so fucking frustrated with having to fucking, you know, work with them for them because, you know, yeah, like I'm grateful that they helped me. I'm grateful that they came, you know, that they did that. But at the same time, on top of that, and on top of the other shit that I talked to you today about Divot, I feel like I'm going to have another sip of this Jack Daniels.
I think you should. I think that is a good idea. But at the same time, man, I think just going back to what you were talking about before, Jesse, I think it is important to keep your I would say keep your sovereignty of consciousness as a being. So like, you know, so that you can still have the power no matter, you know, what hallucination or like, you should have like a spiritual scope as a being, just to say like, bullshit, all right, let's see what that is, let's fucking go there, you know. So like, which is obviously developed over time, but I think that
I don't think I'm definitely, I don't know if I'm even ready for that. That's why I don't do it. But most likely will encounter things that I do not wish to encounter. So
is that through psychedelics?
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, if you told me to do DMT, I would 100% refuse, because there's no way I'll probably enjoy that experience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, me too. I'd fucking like flip a shit if I did DMT right now.
Even mushrooms, I came in like, I mean, I've actually been smoking more weed recently. But I personally, that's been an ongoing study for me right now.
Yeah, no, that's like all good, man. I think you definitely should have like, you know, sovereignty of consciousness in that regard, because only you know what is going on in your mind, and the psychedelics are just going to expand that, you know. And yeah, but so yeah, like I think
I have my own programming and issues, though. That's the thing. And is that my mind pattern may not feel necessary to want to function in that state, which is fine. I mean, yeah.
So like, let me ask you this, because I think there's like there has to be like two sides to it. So what is the good with the ETs? Is there like a good race? Is there like beings of light who are actually like trying to fuck up reptilians?
I don't know. I mean, me and Andrew probably have different opinions about this. I don't know if he wants to go first. I could start with my version.
I mean, probably. Well, I already said my version.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony's pretty much, which is, I wouldn't say is not much different than what I would say, really. For the most part.
That like in terms of there is no good or bad, there's just kind of like this weird experiment that we're caught up in.
There is, yeah, like I said, there is no good or bad. Of course, you're entitled to have your, you know, your mind pattern. And if like victim mentality fits into that, then yeah, obviously, you know, that's not good. In my opinion, any, you know, any outside source that actually, yeah, I don't know. I can't. No, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say any outside source that has an agenda. I was gonna say that's not. I don't. I actually. Yeah, I was gonna say that's, you know, bad, but I don't really see it as bad, honestly. I would say for the most part, though, the ones interacting on this planet have an agenda.
Yeah.
And that is up to the individual to decide whether they think it's correct for someone to propose their values onto someone else.
Yeah, I would like definitely disagree with you there in terms of I absolutely think there's the good and bad, because I think if you like again go with kind of anarchic nihilism into morality, that's when you get I think not ideological stasis, but kind of again, as I said, as like you said before, that it's more that your morality is more susceptible to ideology and or alien beings that may have a good or bad agenda. You don't know because you don't have a sense of what's good or bad. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you
yeah, I mean like if an ET asked you to kill someone, right? Then then like obviously like morality has to become involved at that point, does it not?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and yeah, that's why I say I really I don't know how to explain it very well. It's not obviously in a situation like that it's there definitely is a bad and a good outcome there.
Yeah. So like exactly like I think that I mean like obviously it's not black or white.
Yeah. Well, like again, right. It's how you use it, and like I said, yeah, you can choose it in a bad way. I guess that's a better way of.
I agree with you in terms of like having an individual moral scope.
Oh yeah, just like experience. You can like you can use if you have advanced knowledge, like and like say you're this angelic being, you might have advanced knowledge of all this, really crazy stuff that to us would be perceived as like magic and stuff like that. It depends, but it depends how you could use it. You could use it to manipulate and control people, or you could use it to say like benefit your own community. You could use it say like for an example how you can even try this yourself. If there's a particular like thing about yourself that you want to change, you can try. I mean, you could try some of these things that like this guy me and Anthony study from, and see if it happens. On our level, it's much harder, but the concept is still the same. So, say you want to change the weather, you could do these types of things to like say change weather patterns, have like crops grow, change your hair color. You can use all these things for different things. It's just how you use it basically.
Yeah, exactly. And like it again has to do with the individual sovereignty of consciousness, right? Is that like and I do think that is why bringing things full circle. That is why the individual is important and not the group. That is why the nation is important and not the one world.
Yeah, which is why I disagree with a lot of the New Age stuff about extraterrestrials. Is that
oh, dude, New Age is all globalist propaganda. Yeah, especially the secret. Yeah. It's all globalist propaganda to sell fake ass spirituality to fake ass people.
Well, that first of all, even if like whether they want to invite these things in, if they are into individuality, they wouldn't have a agenda.
Yeah.
If you're a truly peaceful race, in my opinion, then you let something develop on its own. Yeah. But again, this is a moral debate I have with myself on a constant basis that I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. Half the time, I feel like, yeah, they shouldn't interfere. The other half of me feels like, you know, perhaps humans are very stupid and morally should be controlled in a certain direction.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the two sides. Sorry.
I used to be on that one side where, yes, everything should individually develop on its own. And now I definitely shift to the other side. I definitely think there's got to be some sort of fucking intervention because I don't have very much faith in a lot of things nowadays.
See, I'm of the opinion that nothing actually develops on its own. So there is some initial force, you know, whatever you want to call it, and that force can be worked with. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if it's like an alien force or God force, but things that essentially made the ETs. You know?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. Like, if you watch, like, I found it kind of funny, the last movie, Alien Covenant.
Oh, I still have to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty movie until the end, but the end is kind of interesting what they basically promoted out there, what I at least got from it. And
all right, spoiler alert. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, so yeah, maybe I don't have to. Perhaps I will let you just watch it, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Did you watch Wonder Woman? Or like any of the superhero movies recently?
No, that I cannot usually probably get myself to watch. I will do the only reason why I watch the Alien ones is to see what they're promoting.
Yeah.
And that's all I can do beyond that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, movies are generally difficult for me to sit through nowadays.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, man, that was a fucking epic chat. I do have to get going, unfortunately, but yeah, we should have one again sometime soon.
Oh, yeah,
hopefully Trump is not impeached in the Russian thing. I still have to watch the full testimony.
He's not getting impeached. It's a hogwash. It's there.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a good sign. The only thing me and Anthony, he likes to get involved. At least the one thing I could say is that I am totally for whoever is getting involved in getting rid of Illuminati, because I think their days are becoming numbered.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of people.
You're seeing the slow dismantle of it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think it is fucking imminent, because fuck one world government.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Tyranny.
There might be some that they'll finale with, like, don't be surprised to see some real fucked up shit. But that means that.
Yeah, I think, dude, hopefully some more interesting fucked up shit comes out. Trump is shaking the beehive.
You have to understand that unfortunately, the much worse it gets, that means they're running out of ideas, of ways to.
I think that's why Comey gave this whole fucking testimony.
Oh yeah, the Comey. Yeah.
Releasing a written transcript the day before, they're trying to control the fucking narrative, and failed, according to Alex Jones. But I still have to see for myself.
Yeah, I have to watch the rest of the testimony, but
yeah,
like I said, he's a pawn. He's
dude, how long have we been going for? It doesn't even seem.
Yeah, it would be probably quite a while.
Yeah, dude, I think at least 2 hours. So it should be Hyperspace Hours next time.
Yeah. All right, man. Oh, Jesse, could I give you a call? Just there's something I want to talk to you about quickly. Could I just give you a call after this?
Yeah.
All right, homies.
All right.
I'll catch you on the flip.
All right, peace out.
Peace out. Epic one again.